Hi everyone, my name is Sabina and I have been a teacher for 30 years now. And I also tutor children for their SATs, the 11 plus, and their foundation GCSEs in English and maths. Now, what we're going to do in this session today is look at a SATs question that the children actually took in their SPAG test, which is spelling and grammar test and punctuation, that they took last year on the UK paper. Now, you will see from this question that it is quite technical. And so what I'm going to do is explain to you how the children would have learned the information to answer this question from year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because this is not a question that can just be taught in one session. There are lots of lessons that a child would have gone through in order to answer this question. So if you are home educating or supporting your child with homework and schoolwork, then you will also see the process that children go through in order to answer a question like this. So let's have a look at the test question to start off with. We discovered the dusty, narrow pathway behind the house. Now, it would take me several lessons to explain to you what a relative clause, a main clause, an adverbial, and a noun phrase was. So what I'm actually going to do is tell you that the answer is a noun phrase. And now I'm going to go through why it's a noun phrase. But I'm going to start with the work children do in year 1 and go through the years to show you how the knowledge is built up so that you can see the sequence of what children go through in order to learn how to answer this question. So let me come out of this. Hopefully you can see that. So we're going to go through how children learn their nouns through the years. We're going to start off with, let me just see if I can make this a bit bigger. There we go. So we're going to start off with what children learn in year 1. Now, in order to understand what a noun phrase is, children first need to learn what a noun is. So they would start learning this in year 1. And a noun is a thing. It's anything that you can touch, anything you can feel, smell, hear, that is a noun. So, for example, cat, dog, house, are all nouns, everyday items around your house. So you could say to your child, go and get me a book, go and get me a cup, go and get me a pencil, pen, whatever. All of those things that they can go and get that are tangible, car, table, anything like that, that they can touch, those are all nouns. So children need to understand that things are nouns. So that's the first thing that they would learn in year 1. Now, the purpose of year 1 is to develop their vocabulary in order to have enough words in their memory bank to be able to use in order to turn them into sentences. So the point of year 1 is to build their vocabulary, label things, and understand that the things that they're labeling are nouns. Okay, so they also need to recognize the spelling of those things. So spelling and recognizing words is a big part of year 1. So cat, dog, house, table, those are the pictures, those are the words. They need to know what they are. Right. Moving on to year 2, children now need to understand that there are different types of nouns. So the first one that they're going to learn is the proper noun. Now, a proper noun is the name of a thing. So we have, now I said before that in year 1, nouns are things, but now they're going to learn that nouns are not only things, they're people and places too. So they're people, places, and things. Okay, so those are concrete common nouns. Those are other words for the nouns that you can touch. But they're also going to learn that nouns are proper nouns, which means they're the names of people, places, and things. So here we could have Mr. Jamie Smith. He is a man. So the man is a concrete noun, but Mr. Jamie Smith, that's his name. That's a proper noun. He's married to Sally. Sally is a name, so that's another proper noun. They both live in London. London is the name of a city. A city is the common noun, London is the proper noun, and they both own an Audi and a Porsche. So Audis and Porsches, they're the names of cars. So the car would be your concrete noun or common noun, and your Audi and your Porsche would be the name of the cars, which is your proper noun. Okay, so they also need to understand that nouns can come in singular or plural form. So singular meaning one, and plural meaning more than one. So here we've got dog, cat, house, school, boy, girl, book. They're singular forms. And then you've got the plural forms where you just add an S. Simple, straightforward. You add an S and it becomes more than one. Okay, so we have one cat. We have two cats. Okay, straightforward and simple in year 2. Then it gets a little bit more complex when we get to year 3, because now we don't just stick S onto the end of words to make them plural. Now we have nouns that actually have different endings, or the word changes completely. So for example, we wouldn't say foot and foots for more than one foot. We would say feet. We don't say man and mans. We say men. We don't say mouse and mouses. We say mice. Okay, so children now need to understand that the spelling of words and words themselves start to change. The nouns start to change into different forms when we're talking about more than one. All right, so some other examples would be child changes to children, tooth changes to teeth, woman changes to women, cherry changes to cherries. Now we also need to look at spelling rules in year 3. So the spelling rule for a word that ends in Y, for example, cherry, we drop the Y, change it to an I, and then add ES, not just an S. Okay, wolf changes to wolves, which drop the F, or we change the F to a V and then add ES. And there are all sorts of other spelling rules that children need to learn when they start getting into year 3. So let's have a look. Now we're moving on to year 4. Now it's starting to get a little bit more technical. Our noun can be identified as a noun because we can add articles to them. Now the articles that we're looking at are 3. There is a, an, and the. Okay. I know this seems a lot because I'm cramming this all in, but I hope you can now see what children are learning each year to take them to the next level of their understanding. So a, an, and the are used in specific situations. So for example, if we're talking about a particular cat, one specific cat, then we would use the article the. So the cat means that cat, not any cat, just that particular cat. The cat was in the window. The cats were in the window. Those 2 cats that you can see on the screen, they were in the window. It's a not different cat that's in somebody else's house, but these 2 cats were in the window. When we're talking about non-specific things, so anything, then we would say a cat. So a random cat was in the street. A random cat was in the window. But that is different to the 2 specific cats that you see there that are in the window. Now, we use a and an when the word starts or does not start with a vowel. So we use a when words don't start with a vowel. So cat does not start with a vowel. The vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So cat does not start with A, E, I, O, or U. So we use a. But if the word starts with a vowel, A, E, I, O, and U, then we use an. So for example, an owl, an umbrella, an elephant, an ice cream, an apple. Okay, we don't say at apple, at owl, at umbrella, at elephant, because it's too hard to say. Okay, so we say an because it makes it easier. So when the words start with a vowel, we use an, and when the words don't start with a vowel, we use a. Okay, so children need to learn that nouns have articles that go with them, when we're writing them in a sentence or we're using them. So that's the next part. Now, when we actually add an article to a noun, it becomes a noun phrase. So we're getting closer now to our exam question. Now we've worked out that we have a simple noun phrase when we add an article to a noun. So a cat, the cat, an owl are now noun phrases. Okay, so the two words acting as a noun. Let's move on. So we're starting to get the building blocks of sentences now. So let's have a look how this works. So we have the basic noun, which we learned in year one, the cat. Sorry, cat. Okay. Then we add an article to it and we get a noun phrase, which is a cat. Then what we would do is we could describe this cat. So in this case, we have an orange cat. Okay. Now my article a changed in a cat to an because we're talking about an orange cat. An orange starts with an O, which is a vowel. So the A has to change to an. So now we have an orange cat. Now, when we start adding additional adjectives describing words to our sentence, we can get things like an orange and white cat. Okay, so now our noun phrase has got longer. Okay, so our noun phrase, which started off as a cat, has now become an orange and white cat. It's still acting as one phrase. Okay, so that's in year 4. Let's have a look. So here, now we're going to expand them. So a noun phrase usually has an adjective and an article with the noun, but now we've got some extra information. So if we have a look at this, we've got a cat, an orange and white cat, but then we've got the orange and white cat with black paws. Now the an has changed to a the because we're talking about a specific cat. So if we have a look at the picture, we've got lots of cats, but specifically the cat I'm talking about here is the cat at the bottom, which has black paws. Okay, so it's not one of the 3 at the top because the 3 at the top do not have black paws. The one at the bottom has black paws. So now it's changed from an to a the because we're talking about a specific cat. The orange and white cat with black paws. This is now an expanded noun phrase. Okay, because we had our noun phrase, the orange and white cat, and we've added extra information, which has expanded the description. Okay, so it's an expanded noun phrase. Let's have a look at another example. So when you get to year 5, children focus more on expanded noun phrases, and they need to be able to create these. Now, they do that by adding in their articles, their adjectives, and their nouns to create noun phrases and the extra information. So here, kitten, the adorable kitten, noun phrase, the adorable tabby kitten with white paws. Okay, can you see how the noun phrase has been expanded? So by the time they get, let's have a look. By the time they get to year 6, it's going to get a bit more complex. So we have learnt our expanded noun phrases and everything up to year 5. We probably would have learnt some of these as well, different types of nouns in year 5 as well. But children need to know what these nouns are in year 6. And they need to know the difference between the nouns. So we have common nouns, which they learnt in year 1, the things that you can touch. Okay, the book, the door, the water, the dog, anything you can put the and a in front of is a noun. So, but they're taught that they're things that they can touch and see. But when they get to year 6, they learn abstract nouns. Now, abstract nouns are nouns that you actually can't see. You might be able to feel them, but you can't feel them as in internally, not with your fingers. but they're not things that you can see. So, for example, hope, anger, happiness, a lie. Now we know they're nouns because we can put a and the or a different determiner with them. Now, a determiner is another word like it's a number or the word some, their, his, one, etc. Those are all words that can go in front of a noun. So, a hope, he had a hope. The anger built up inside him. Their happiness was easy to see. The lie was really, really bad. Okay, so we can't see hope, we can't see anger, we can't see happiness, we can't see a lie, but because we can put the word the, an, or a in front of the word, or even another determiner like there, that word is a noun. Okay, so that is something children need to learn so that they understand in year 6 that words that have an article with them are automatically nouns. Then we have group names. So group nouns. So for example, a bunch of grapes, a bunch of flowers, a gang of thieves, a gang of robbers, a deck of cards, a flock of sheep, a pile of logs. Okay, so a pile of papers. So you have group words, and they're called collective nouns. All right, so children need to learn what the collective nouns are. And then we have compound nouns. Now, compound nouns are actually words that have been put together to create a new word. So, for example, you can have tooth and you can have paste, but if you put them together, you get toothpaste, which is a compound noun, which really isn't related to the original words, but the two words that have been put together to create another noun. Butterfly, you get butter and you get fly, butterfly. Ice and you get cream, ice cream. Okay, so those are compound nouns, and children need to know the difference between the different nouns by the time they get to year 6. So let's have a look at the next slide. So by the time they get to year 6, they have a lot of knowledge that they can then use in their writing. They can then use higher level adjectives, but we're not going into adjectives today because we're focusing more on nouns, but children would use lots of adjectives with their nouns to make their nouns more descriptive. And then they use all of that to create really interesting expanded noun phrases, really interesting sentences, such as the ferocious emerald dragon with sharp, jagged claws. Okay, so can you see how we've gone from year 1 level all the way up to year 6 level descriptions so that they can do some really rich pieces of writing. So to support children learning nouns at home, you could help them label household items for the year 1s and the year 2s, even 4, 5s and 6s. They could do a play the noun spotting game, identify the nouns around them, read stories, discuss the nouns in the stories. How are the things in the stories described? How are the people described? How are the places described? How are objects described? And then practice with writing these descriptions down. How can they improve their writing? How can they improve the description to make their writing come alive? And that will support them in their learning. So the common challenges that you are going to find when you actually come to teach nouns also is the spelling of the plural forms of nouns. So we've got, for example, the irregular spellings, irregular plurals. Goose changes to geese, wolf changes to wolves. So those come with a whole host of spelling rules. Then we've got the homonyms. They're really fun. So like bank. A bank can be somewhere where you put your money, or you can have a river bank. Okay, still the same word, but it's the same word with two different meanings. Bark, you have the bark of a tree, and then there's the dog's bark. Tie, you have a tie that you wear. There's the tie where you have a game and nobody wins, and there is a tie, there's a draw, or the tie where you tie your shoelaces, but that's actually a verb. So homonyms are words that are the words with the same spelling, but they have a different meaning. Okay. And then you also have homophones, which are things like plane and plane, plane that flies in the sky, and a plain piece of paper. Different spelling, but the same sounding word. Okay, so this is where nouns is really important. There's so many different aspects of learning about nouns. And then we have the abstract nouns, which we covered earlier, which are the things which you can't see, but are still nouns like love, happiness, freedom. We know they're nouns because you can put an a or a the in front of them. The love, the freedom, the happiness. All right. So just to wrap up, so the next steps going forward that you might want to do is to help your child master their nouns. They're really important. Nouns are everywhere, literally everywhere. Explore verbs, which are doing words, and adjectives, which describe the nouns. And then that will help your children develop a structure in their sentence and help with writing complex things and developing their writing skills. So I hope you found that useful. So let's just jump back to the exam question, and you should then be able to see. Let's go back. So you should now be able to see from this question, now that we've done a whistle-stop tour of nouns, what is the grammatical term for the underlined words in this sentence below? So let me break this down. So we have a the, first clue. We have an article. Then we have dusty, narrow, which are our adjectives. Pathway, which is our noun. Okay, so the dusty, narrow pathway itself is a noun phrase. Then behind the house, that's an extra bit of information about the path because it's telling us that the pathway is behind the house. So altogether, that is actually an expanded noun phrase. But it doesn't say expanded noun phrase, so the closest one here is noun phrase. So that is the one that the children will tick. I hope you found that useful. And tomorrow I will cover a different topic, and then we can look at how we can improve children's writing from there on. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, then feel free to drop me a line in the comments, and I'll try and answer them for you in another video. Or if you'd actually like to join my parent teacher Facebook group, support group, then I can answer them for you in there. The details are in the description below. I also have a free parent teacher magazine, which can be delivered straight into your inbox to support you again. And again, the details are in the description. This video will be up for about a week, and then after that, it will be archived with all the others in the Facebook group where you can access whenever you want. There's also daily Q&As where I answer your questions through comments and posts. And so, yeah, if you'd like to join, then the details are below. So I will see you tomorrow in another live session, and I'll cover another test question, and that's at 9 p.m. UK time, GMT. Okay, so I'll see you then. Bye.